By far the most fun we have on the show is shooting it. Because when we walk down to the studio and we set up the show, we get everything ready, we make sure the plant is right in the middle of the set, make sure everything sounds good and looks good. It adds like to the feeling of like professionalism that we strive for. And then when the guest actually comes and we either introduce ourselves if we don't know them, or we just kind of have a conversation, put them at ease and make sure that they're comfortable. And then it's a natural segue from that right into the interview.
Literally prepare. Oh, you maybe like right here. I thought you did improv. Like I was like, I don't know. I got like this weird vibe. Do you do improv?
Any improv I've ever done. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ms. Clifford used to do the Improvables. It was fantastic. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, we're good.
All right. You guys ready? For such a seemingly simple looking set, we put a lot of effort into like the color we wanted, what we wanted on the table, the designs, even the logo. It definitely took a lot more effort, and I don't know about if you feel the same way, but it's such like a personal appreciation I have whenever I see this set, whenever I set it up, because it's kind of like it's a collection of all the little things we have along the way. Like these cups right here. These cups are from Mr. Schaefer in one of our episodes. This name tag right here, that's from Teresa Sullivan. Like this set has become a culmination of just all of our guests, all of our episodes, and it's cool to look back on.
Yeah, definitely. And even the new things, like obviously the masks. We have the shields here. We have our trusty old hand sanitizer here. And even the new set with the carpet and the two of us at the table and the guest over by the chair. It's cool to see the variation between the episodes and the seasons.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like we are definitely like a community show, and all of our items here on set are from different members of the community. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to see kind of how the show has even our guests have made the show better over time.
Aaron and I, we try to do as much research as possible for the guests. We want to make sure that we're asking interesting and relevant questions that hopefully other people in the community or the school system have. And we try and be a voice for ourselves and also the members of the community and get those questions answered. So usually behind my little nameplate, I have a note sheet with facts and figures. Research has always been interesting because for some of the guests, it's kind of hard to find their like social media or information about their companies or for whatever reason we have them on the show. It's interesting to do research because sometimes we go off the internet and sometimes we just have to go off of like word of mouth.
Yeah, it's not like we're interviewing like Leonardo DiCaprio here. There's very little information we have out there on our guests, so we have to do for like a fair amount of research to kind of get what we need to do. But a lot of it is just kind of what we think would interest us, but also what we think the community would be interested in. I like to think my preparation style is kind of like controlled chaos. I do my research. I figure out questions. I bring them like in kind of like topics, but then I let it flow. I don't really have too much here to reference from. I look at all my notes before the show, and the questions kind of like come to mind for me. And it definitely wasn't like that in the beginning. I definitely had a structured sheet, but after doing this for multiple seasons, I've just kind of I've gained the ability to learn how to think of questions on the fly and think of things I truly want to be interested in.
Because you can't really structure a conversation, and that's why, doing the show in person, having that natural kind of back and forth, it's so much more rewarding than just asking questions like that. If we were just gonna word for word have these questions just written out, then why do the show in person? Why have this be a talk show?
And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that the art of conversation, it's actually a skill. It's not something that you're naturally really good at. I mean, some people obviously can have that ability, but for me, I've learned to hold a conversation better. I've learned how to pronunciate better. I've learned how to speak better. The show has not just been kind of an interview show for the guests. It's also been a tool for me to use to, learn more information about my peers, learn how to connect with people, learn how to speak, have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2.
Hi, welcome to Season 3, Episode 13 of The Weekly Wave. I'm Matthew Owens.
I'm Aaron Johnson.
And our very special guest here today is new member of the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Alex Haggerty. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you? Thank you, man. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming down. We're looking at other towns surrounding us, and they're not as fortunate as we are, and really be able to bounce back in the way that we are, whether with CARES Act money, but also making sure we have a balanced budget. We're going to have a balanced budget this year without cutting any services, for FY22, and I think that's a huge. So, as director of the Weekly Wave, I came on in season 2, and to see Chronicle, a show that I've watched before, that I know my family, my friends have all watched before, it was surreal to see them come in and to be on that show. This is, things people are seeing all over the state, and it wasn't like a cameo. It wasn't like, we were in there for like a second or two and we were in a montage. We weren't in a montage. We were a specified segment about us and about what we do here. And to get that kind of recognition felt really good, because we do work hard, and we do care so much about the show, and we do enjoy it so much. So to get it recognized felt really good, and just to kind of show people what we do, and to even talk to these people. I was able to have a sit-down interview with the producer, Raymond Cromwell, who was on set with us that day, and it was so cool to just talk to someone in a field that I want to go into with not necessarily just broadcast journalism, but just film and TV production in general. And to talk to him about things like that was so cool. And then seeing the segment when it was aired was just crazy. I was sitting in the living room with my family, and my mom almost cried. It was seeing us on TV and doing what we love and talking about what we love was just so great. I love how we were able to get that out there to people, show them how passionate we are about this, and how other people could get involved, and how in a time where students are struggling and people in general are struggling to do things that they love, and to show people that we're in this pandemic, but we're still pushing through, we're still working hard to bring this show to be what it can be. It was really cool to send that message. The whole experience with Chronicle was just so awesome, and I sometimes find it hard to even believe that it happened. It was awesome, so cool.
The Weekly Wave was shut down briefly when Abington schools went fully remote, but they are now back on a hybrid production schedule that also gets them back in the studio.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of The Weekly Wave.
Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at The Weekly Wave and the Green Wave Gazette.
Stay safe.
Goodbye, everybody.
I almost laughed at the
Squeaking.
almost killed me.